Welcome to a brand new season of the Waffle Shop podcast. Before I let you get into the episode, I need to have a quick waffle about the Waffle Shop podcast live, coming from St Mary's Guildhall in Coventry on the 22nd of April. You can expect incredible guests, live music, and of course, plenty of waffle. Get your tickets now via the link in my bio and enjoy the episode. Welcome to another episode of the Waffle Shop podcast. Today, I'm joined by what I feel like is going to be my new favorite person. It's singer-songwriter Billy Lockett. Welcome to the Waffle Shop.
Wow, that's a lot of pressure now, isn't
I
it?
know, sorry. It's just, you know what, before I got on here, I thought I'd do a little bit of digging, and your biography that got sent to me is probably one of the best things I've ever written. Written? I didn't write it. I've read.
Yeah, yeah. Just remind me of what that is. I definitely wrote
Okay.
it. I promise I wrote
Well,
it, but
yeah.
you know,
We'll dive straight into it, shall we? It
yeah.
says,
Go on.
who got played on radio all over the world, which is accurate. It's accurate. This bit, I'm a huge fan of. Hired bodyguards to keep crazy fans from trying to cut locks of my hair when I'm shopping in Lidl.
Yeah,
I mean,
day.
that's
Never
next
happens
level.
in Tesco's. Never happens in Waitrose.
Oh,
Waitrose is more of just a stare. Yeah,
yeah,
but
the
Aldi,
Lidl.
yeah,
Oh,
Lidl. Then again, no. Do you know what? I sound pretentious saying that. I shop at Lidl and Aldi, and I genuinely think they are the best
of course
super.
they are.
They really
Yeah.
are. That miscellaneous bit in the middle.
Oh,
Yeah.
batshit, batshit crazy.
What is happening there? You get an inflatable dinghy and a pizza from the same place, and some wellies and a barbecue, all from the
True.
same aisle.
The only thing is, it almost makes up for it. And then when you come to pay for it and they launch it at you, it's, it's like these items are great, but yeah, here's that dinghy getting flung at your head. Like
Yeah,
I'm there at the end trying to catch it with my bag for life.
and it definitely doesn't fit. I mean, our Lidl's still got Christmas trees up. I'm just
Oh
thinking,
wow.
oh, that. I mean, not up as in for sale in the miscellaneous section in the middle. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
guys, who is planning that?
You do, don't you? It's like one day after it's Boxing Day and they've put Easter eggs and, and literally like they're ready to go.
Oh, it's sad, isn't it? It's like we've got this massive need to keep moving forwards to the next thing almost too quickly rather than just, well, it's got deep quickly, hasn't it?
I know, but to be fair though, this is how I start each one of my shows. I not to get all sad at the start. It's not. It's a chance for me and my guests to get something off our chest. It's called the Weekly Waffle, and obviously once we spoke about it, we feel better. But I think that's a good one. That's a good one to start with.
Yeah,
It's just
cool.
this. We don't tend to stop
So is
enough
it kind of
anymore.
like is the Waffle Shop podcast, it's like almost like a moan.
Yeah,
I like
it's just basically I ran out of people to talk to in lockdown. So I thought, what better way? I'll record it and invite some people along. And lo and behold, people say yes. So,
You know what though? I love it. I love the whole like podcast thing. It's something so just like calming about it's probably my
yeah,
favorite. It's personally my favorite medium. Is it? Does that right
that's
word?
good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go with
My
that.
favorite form of entertainment out of like I know that sounds mental because I'm a musician, but I'd much rather listen to a
Hey,
podcast.
I'm not coming for your job, so don't come for mine.
I do actually have a podcast, but I don't really do it much at the moment. It's a lot though, isn't it? It's a big commitment being able to
It's a lot of work.
keep it going, you
But
know.
you know what though? I'd be lost without it. And there's moments, especially like I've had a bit of a rough day today. And even just having this chat now, like the initial, we're like what, 2, 3 minutes in, and I already feel better just having that kind of conversation.
Well, it's
But
therapy, isn't it? Talking
oh, 100%.
everything, really. I almost like it so much that sometimes I can't stop. My girlfriend lets me know regularly that I'm talking too much.
Just have like a little buzzer.
I know I'm conscious I'm doing it now. If I do
No,
it,
no, it's good. It's good.
I'm
This
supposed
the
to though. It's
waffle
podcast,
shop.
isn't it?
Yeah,
So, yeah.
exactly. That's what you're here for. But to be fair, one of the things that's kind of been kind of getting on my nerves, and I kind of wanted to speak to you about it in particular, because I've just announced I'm doing a live version of the podcast in front of a live audience, which is terrifying. But one of the things that's kind of getting on my goat a little bit is the whole imposter syndrome thing. It's like I've worked very hard to get to this point, but there's still that voice that's like, Matt, it's going to go wrong. You don't deserve this. And I think I kind of wanted to kind of throw it at you, not throw imposter syndrome
Yeah,
at you.
yeah,
And obviously,
yeah,
no
yeah.
one wants that. But obviously, with you being a musician, obviously, you've just announced your headline shows like across the UK. Does any of that kind of like thoughts, like negative
Yeah.
wise, like creep in? Like, how do you navigate it?
I mean, the negative thoughts always creep in. Um, I think it's like there is that imposter syndrome thing, which I definitely had at one point in my career. I mean, I've been doing this
Yeah.
for 11 years, so the imposter syndrome thing is well and truly gone. I really feel like I'm ready. Um,
Good. Yes,
but,
that's what we like.
but at the same time, there is still that feeling of like, how did I get away with this? Because, I really, really like what I do.
Yeah.
I really, really love it. And it's just sometimes I feel bad that like, it's like some people are nurses and soldiers and things like that. They're
Yeah.
proper hard jobs, like that I would never even dream of being able to do. And sometimes there is a weird feeling that like when you're a singer, you're praised for
Yeah.
how hard you work and how amazing you are and all this. And it's like, yeah, but I'm making noises with my mouth because I enjoy doing that. And it just so happens that you like the sound of it. Like, that's pretty much all it like.
I'm sure that's the most beautiful way I think I've ever heard being a
I'm
singer. Someone
not
describe their
delivering.
career.
I'm not
Put that on
delivering a
LinkedIn.
baby, am I? I'm not saving. I'm not saving a country. I'm not. Police. Do you know what I mean? They get a lot.
Yeah.
Can you swear on this? Can you swear on this?
Absolutely. It's
Oh,
great.
okay, great. Well, police get a lot of shit, and I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, one of my best friends is a policeman, and God, the amount of shit he gets when it's socially, and it's
Yeah.
like, this guy's risking his life every day, and people are just like, "Oh, we hate you." Whereas me,
Yeah.
I'm
Just
just like,
never happy.
"Yeah,
We're never happy.
yeah." So there is a bit of that imposter syndrome side of it, in the fact that like, why do we get praised so much for this? Um, and I think as well the 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 negative thoughts thing for me is like comparing yourself. That was something that I
Yeah.
really struggled with.
Thief
Like,
of joy.
yeah, do you have that with podcasters? Do you ever like, well, the early days, were you looking at other podcasters that were like massive and thinking like, oh, why am I not blah 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 blah? Yeah,
Yeah. And to be fair, like I still do. There's still kind of like certain ones out there that, you know, we started around the same time. Yeah. I look at their like guests and stuff, and it's just like it got to a point where, and to be fair, it was mainly the Instagram thing, to be honest, like the followers and stuff like
oh,
that. And it was like
brutal.
that really kind of very nearly ended the podcast. And then it wasn't until kind of I gave myself a bit of a kick up the bum to be like, this is not why you started this. You started this as an outlet for you.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that it helped other people too. So I think with that kind of thing, I have to really kind of remember my why
Yes.
and not
Yes.
compare, because as soon as I start comparing, all that kind of creeps in. It's like the joy of it starts going out of it and I start to not like it. And then,
I
yeah,
think that's the thing, isn't it? It's like when you're putting that much energy on what you haven't got, and that, you know, 9 times out of 10, when you look at someone and you feel that jealousy, it's probably because there's a hell of a lot of things that they're doing right that you want to be doing right.
yeah,
So it's kind of like, for me personally, like I learned this probably about a year ago, and I really should have learned it earlier, but I
yeah,
probably learned it when I was about 30. Um, and it was that feeling of when I see someone that's doing really well, embrace it, learn from it, look, because no matter what it is, there's probably a reason. If it's successful, there's something about it that's great, and you need to look for that. That's
yeah,
the thing, and then you need to be like, wow, why is this so amazing? Why did so many people love it? Oh, it's that. Oh, how awesome is that? Let me try and put that into what I do, or be inspired, or don't, and just be
yeah.
like, wicked, I'm happy for you, and the second I started doing that, my whole career started going well, and I started doing better
Amazing.
work, and I started, you know, just feeling mentally in a better place, because
Yeah.
all of a sudden there's no competition. My dad always used to say that you can't compare a sheep to a cow, which essentially is a very basic way
Love that.
of trying trying to learn from people. But yeah, so I think that's easier said than done, isn't it? I've
It
heard people
is.
tell me this for years, and I was like, yeah, but I'm still jealous.
Yeah, it doesn't go away. We could talk about it though. It makes us feel better for the next couple 5-10 minutes.
Yeah,
But do you know what though? This is what I love having singers on the show, because it kind of proves to me that regardless of what you do for a living, like we all kind of feel this very human, natural kind of emotions. And I think when it was popping into my head, this is what kind of reminds me of it again, was it was T.I. and Rihanna, Live Your Life. There was a line in T.I.'s song that was like, stop comparing yourself when you're comparing yourself to others or something. It was like, no, stop talking
oh,
about what you don't have and
oh
start
yeah, yeah,
focusing on what you do have.
oh yeah,
And it was
yeah.
like literally, I'm just giving myself goosebumps. It's so pathetic, but it's stuff like that. But
It's beautiful because then you can work out what's great about yourself, because you can take in all of these amazing aspects of all these other people. If you're just feeling this toxicity, or it's ego, really, and if
yeah,
you only see the sort of negative side of someone else's success, you don't progress. You know what I mean? You don't get any further.
yeah, I feel like I want to clap.
It stalls you, honestly. It stalls you, and it's held me back for years. Because some people in life just don't have this. I've got mates, and singers who have never felt any. They just love everyone. Everything's great. Oh, congratulations! And there's none of that kind of. Oh,
Yeah,
I wish I had a bit of that. And so it almost kind of makes you just think, oh God, am I a bad person for having these thoughts? You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
but I guess it is just a human nature thing.
Of course it is. And today, stuff like this that reminds me, like, you might think about it, but you don't have to act on it. And it's that kind of like, you're not your thoughts. So I
Yeah,
think it is a very human thing to do. And I think it wasn't until I started talking about it made me realize that, okay, maybe you're not such an you're
yeah.
not such an asshole. Everyone does this.
Yeah, it's weird. I have that in my head every day. I wake up and I'm like, I'm not an asshole.
Not so.
Okay, right, shower.
It's the best way to start the day. Oh, that's brilliant. To be fair, okay, so I feel like I'm on a bit of a okay. It's good combat. We're off to a good
Yeah, you're
start here.
rolling, mate. Honestly,
Yeah.
such a good job. I'm really proud.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you, thank you.
you're doing
I'm
really.
proud of you. Proud of
Oh,
you.
yeah.
I love when I have kind of a singer on here, because I like to know, or if there were like moments when the career started. So I've had people come on and say like they were inspired by a certain performer, or they heard a certain song, or it was an instrument. How did that musical journey start for you?
Oh God, this doesn't sound very inspiring, but I was rubbish at everything else. I need to start lying, but I can't. I'm too honest here. But I was just, dude, seriously, I was so shit at everything. I was. And then I just started, and then I played piano at like 8 years old. And I was just really good at it. And everyone was really confused. Even I was confused. I literally, so the way I play piano now, I was able to play exactly, pretty much almost exactly the same way when I first ever played
Wow.
piano at 8 years old. I just know how to do that. And I don't know why. It's just one of those hilarious
Just-
party tricks. And I remember when I was a kid seeing like the looks on people's faces, and they were like, it was just like my mum and dad were terrified. They were terrified, because it's freaky. How creepy is that? You've got an
yeah,
8-year-old son, and they just sit at your piano that you've just bought. You'd never had a keyboard in house, nothing.
yeah.
And I just sat down and just played it.
Just started
So
banging out Mozart.
it wasn't, it wasn't like Mozart exactly. I mean, but it was basic, but no more like
Yeah,
it's as basic as I do it now. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not
yeah.
a particularly incredible pianist, but I could basically play the same as I always did. So I did that, and I thought, and I tried. I
Wow.
went to school and I failed everything, And the worst thing is I tried. That's the key teeth. It's like, I wish I could have been one of those. Yeah, I didn't give a shit, man, and I failed everything. Cool,
Yeah.
but I was like, no, I was properly trying, studying, and still got U's in everything. Like I just don't.
Wow.
All the teachers were shocked by how shit I was at all subjects. and I was at one of the best schools in the country as well. Fuck knows how I even got into it, to be fair. And I, and then I
Oh,
just
no, that
thought,
you literally, I feel like I'm in love with you. This is brilliant.
and I got to 16, everyone's going to uni to do the thing that they were really good at. Do you know what I mean? I was particularly good at English. I was
Yeah.
particularly good at science. I was like, well, I was shit at all things apart from playing piano. So I just thought I went to a music college in Manchester for like a day.
Yeah.
I just thought,
Solid start.
yeah, I literally went to registration and they did registration. I've just thought, fuck this, this is not for me. Walked out and then I guess I just had to do music really, because otherwise
Yeah.
I was going to be fucked.
Well, do you know what? I'm glad you did
Yeah,
because from what I heard, like the album is absolutely incredible.
great, great.
Literally,
Oh,
Kamikaze
yeah, man.
is just, do you know what? This is going to sound really random, but I was listening to it on my walk to work this morning and I felt like, you remember Arthur? Like every day when I'm
Oh,
walking
yeah,
down,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
I don't know what it is, but Kamikaze came on and I just felt like I was doing like that
yeah.
kind of
That
like
was
Arthur
it.
walk down the street. And I was like, oh my God,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is good.
I'm so happy that you're saying that, man, because I've not talked about that song before because it's not one of the singles. It's not. It's like it's not particularly like pop. Like
Yeah.
not popular. It's just not very known because the album's only been out 2 days. So basically, I haven't been able to talk about any of these songs. So like this is the first time that I can.
Let's dive into them.
Yeah,
Because obviously Kamikaze for me is up there with one of my favorites on there. I mean, to be fair, there's loads. Don't worry. Like,
yeah.
yeah. But some of these literally they grab you in that first 5-10 seconds. You're like, oh, it's got me again. So
That's the point. It was this constant. I felt like I was just. I've got such a short attention span, a little bit
yeah.
of ADHD, a little bit of Tourette. Well, a lot of Tourette's actually, but that's calmed down since making this album, which is great. Um,
Wow.
but really, I think all of those things about me have made me want to make an album that constantly keeps grabbing you, and I'm just so
Yes.
terrified of people getting bored. And so I get bored in a second. So it's like the whole song. It's like, hey, there I'm bored. Add another sound. Say a funny lyric. Do something. Do you know what I mean? And so the whole album, you kind of almost blink and it's over because you've
Yeah.
constantly been punched and grabbed in, every 5 seconds.
I got to work and I'm like, what happened to you? Well,
Yeah,
Abington Road.
yeah.
It was a tough journey.
It was. It's like I almost kind of want to make him cry, and then 10 seconds later, there's a sort of a funny joke in there, and then there's
Yeah.
something that's like almost full. Oh, it's great. I'm really
Bit of
pleased.
spoken word.
Yeah. Oh God, I know.
Literally.
I know. I'm not. I'm still not sure about that, but because it's like
Why?
when you say it, like I remember I did it and I played it to my girlfriend and she was like, it's not there. It's not there yet. Do you know what I mean? It's like that kind of okay. Because when I was writing it in a real like moment of passion at the time. I think I was on a bus or something. It was raining
Yeah.
outside.
I love that.
And
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I'm just feeling this, right? And I wrote it all out. And I was like, that's beautiful. I like that. But then when you come and say it, it's like, well, are you rapping? Are you talking, or are you talking with attitude? It's like,
I liked it. Do you know what it reminded me of? It gave me that old school, like when I was like hitting like 17, 18, like and like first started going out, it was like Lily Allen, Kate Nash, like it was that old school, like Amy Winehouse, it was that old school kind of British kind
yeah,
of
attitude.
that's what it hit me with because I wasn't expecting it when I first listened to it. And I was like, oh, okay. This
Yeah,
is like I liked it. It was good.
that's the thing, though, isn't it? It's like, oh, okay, which I think is good enough for me. Do you know what I mean? I was going more for like, fuck yeah, but then it didn't quite come out. It was almost a bit too. But no, I'm glad that you like it. I'm really glad you. I think it's like if you know me well, it
Yeah.
felt almost a bit cringy because I was putting my. I think maybe I was just being extremely honest,
Yeah.
and with this whole album, I've been way more. If someone was to cover any of these songs, it would definitely still. I think finally I've managed to write music that is so specific to me in terms
Yeah.
of it'd be weird if someone else sang a lot of these songs because of it's the way I talk.
Yeah. Do you know
It's
what is nice though? Because I feel like I'm glad I kind of listened to the album first before we kind of spoke about it, because I'm getting this now.
yeah, yeah.
Like it's kind of like, and I
I'm not
kind of
putting it off for you.
this is a
Putting you off
brilliant
for
sales pitch. No, joke. Honestly, it's if anything, it's making me like want. Well, I was going to go back to it anyway, but it's
yeah.
making me want to go and go back to it. But I did want to tap into that kind of like honesty and like the vulnerability around it, because some of the songs on there that obviously they're extremely honest, and I kind of wanted to ask how the process was, what it was like for you, kind of pouring your heart into them.
Well, it kind of it's really scary because you're kind of going, God, if everyone rejects this, then it just feels brutal because
Yeah,
you're really putting your neck on the line and you're kind of thinking, oh my God, I've spent all of this energy in this project, mentally, physically,
yeah,
um, and just kind of like with the heart as well. It would hurt if it was sort of, but no one's going to take the piss, but it kind of just feels like, God, am I really opening up about all of these things properly?
yeah,
I think with my songs in the past, I I've opened up, but in like song. I've had like songwriting to cover up so it will sound pretty and it'll rhyme
yeah,
and then so you're kind of putting your hidden message in between it. Whereas with this album was like Don't Worry and Kamikaze, Last Night, Don't Be So Hard on Yourself, like not okay,
yeah,
most of them. It's not singy song. I'm not really beating around the bush. I'm literally saying it
yeah,
in a singy way, even sometimes I'm singing the word, and think
yeah,
that's the way and so that makes me think, God, I really, you know, showing everyone everything here. But if you want anything to be good, like if you want it to be great, it has to be unapologetically real. It's got to be,
yeah,
to the core. It has to be so you for it to be great, I think. And it's
100%.
hard to actually really um, be able to not put a front on with everything, even with
Yeah,
interviews and just being a human being. When you meet someone at a pub or something, you know what I mean? It's hard to just be instantly yourself and that you're
yeah,
that person, whoever you are on the internet, doing all the stories and all of that. I think if you can learn how to tap into your true core self, then I think your social, in terms of an artist side of things, your music gets better, your social media gets better. You're genuinely, I think, a more real person. You've got
yeah,
more friends, your relationships are better, and you can overcome things like addiction and anxiety and all these other things because you're so in tune with
yeah.
what's real, what you the present, actually be
You know, though, it's so nice though, and it's really refreshing to hear, because like there's obviously a huge stigma when it comes to like mental health, especially like men's mental health, and even some of the titles like with you've got like Don't Worry and you've got Not Okay. Even saying those words out loud, like I'm not okay, is a huge kind of like
yeah,
stepping stone, especially for like us lads, like to admit that actually we're not okay, like is a
yeah,
huge step. So to put it in kind of out there in kind of such, well, in the art form that you have, is like I've got nothing but respect for, because they not only speak to someone who's kind of, obviously I haven't been through what you've been through, but like my own journey, like it is so refreshing, and it's very authentic, and especially now I'm like sat in front of you, like I can feel that. So
great, great.
huge respect.
Great, man. Thank you. I mean, this is the thing. I've never been any different. I've always found it weird that, I remember I've had a lot of therapists and they'd always say to me, do you find it hard to talk about your feelings to people? And I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I find it really, I like talking about my feelings, especially to my guy mates, and a lot of my guy mates are very closed and I'm the guy they talk to about things,
yeah,
and it's nice, like, but I'm just like, why are we not all doing this all the time? And I guess obviously there's these defenses and you don't want to say the wrong thing and make things worse, but honesty is the best policy, I think, with all this stuff. And I think with this album I'm finding a lot more you know, because my audience has been predominantly female for pretty much
Yeah.
most of my life in terms of my followers online, and everything's about 80, it has been about 80% to 20%. But
Yeah.
since this album has started coming out, the amount of male like fans that I'm getting who are really starting to listen to the lyrics, and now it's helped their relationships with their kids or their wives, or
Amazing.
you know, and it's like, this is actually helping people. Like that means it's like bigger than music now. Now it's
Yeah.
not just like some fun sound. It's like it's actually like it is actually helping people. Obviously, nowhere near what a nurse would do, but still,
In your own way. Your
yeah,
own way. I would
it's
have clapped
a
for you on a Thursday.
I'd be more of a Friday. Can I have the Friday spot?
Friday, you can have the
Yeah,
Friday
yeah,
clap.
yeah, yeah. Wednesday. Yeah, musicians.
Well, was there any part like of the journey, like when you were putting these songs together, that you thought they were going to have this kind of impact? Like, especially now, because like obviously you said they're like with the messages and stuff. Like, how does that make you feel, like receiving that kind of feedback?
I mean, it's amazing. I really, you know, the whole thing is just blowing up. My Instagram is blowing up. My Facebook's blowing up, but it's not just the whole ego thing of it's blowing up. It's like people are actually getting in touch and being like, wow, this is like so beneficial. And for me, I've had this album sitting on a SoundCloud link, on a private SoundCloud link, for like probably almost a year now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because we obviously finished the last couple of songs about 7-8 months ago, and you know, and then so in its final form, and then I was
Yeah.
changing the order around because I kept listening to it over and over and over again. You know, I'm talking like I listened to this album like thousands of times in different orders, and then
Yeah.
that doesn't really work there, and then I just changed that. So through the year, I was still kind of fiddling with it. Or there'd be like, okay, I don't like that last reverb at the end, or there'd be too much silence between two songs. So I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
that next song comes in like it comes in 1 second before the last one, and I feel like we need a bit of a breather after that last lyric, so maybe 4 seconds. So the attention to detail was like crazy over the
Yeah.
top. And the whole time I kept thinking, why am I spending so much time on this shit? Nobody's going to notice any of these stupid things or these changes. But like, I just did
But
it.
it was yours
Hey,
though.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just wanted it to be great. And you know, I had no idea it was going to be this successful. And I'm just, no. Then again, in my head, I was like, I'm sure this is good. I'm sure it is. But then it's that voice of like, yeah, but you always think everything's good and it's always flops.
No, no,
And
I'm not
everyone
having
thinks
that.
that about what they do, don't they?
Yeah.
Everyone thinks, oh, this is the best thing ever, and then nothing happens.
It's like 2 likes. You're like, oh,
I
okay.
know.
6 hours this took me.
It's exactly that situation with posts as well. Spend all this time, and sometimes I'll literally post, you know, a picture of me and Trev just laying on the bed, and it will get like double the amount that my ginormous new single post got. Like, so this is the thing, you never really know. But all I did was just focus on making something good,
Yeah.
and I had to trust that people, if it's good enough, people will spread it, and it will work. It's just got to be great, and
It's
that's
definitely working, mate. Definitely working. And I'm to quote someone incredibly great, don't be so hard on yourself.
yeah, yeah.
See what I did there?
You know what? I think I'm so proud of that. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, brilliant, comedy genius there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um,
Been waiting to
I
drop that
love.
one in.
But you could use it with somebody. Don't worry. You know, it's okay to be not okay.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
kamikaze, not so much. Maybe that. Yeah, maybe
No,
not.
but it's a belter though. Kamikaze, like, I feel like it's got a special place in my heart now.
And then freaking out as well. It's almost like it's real opposites here, isn't it? It basically depends on whether I was freaking out or I was actually trying to be kind to myself.
Yeah,
Sort
it's
of
a
thing.
roller coaster.
Yeah,
It's a roller
life
coaster.
is though, isn't
Yeah,
it? Life,
Ronan said it. Ronan said.
yeah.
To be fair, speaking of don't be so hard on yourself, like I do want to kind of thank you, especially this morning. I was having a bit of a shit morning, and obviously, you know, walking like Arthur, it got better with Kamikaze. But there's lines in that song that are like, you know, it's just that little reminder that I needed today. That was like, You know, it's okay not to be okay. Like you can ask for help if you need it. And it's stuff like that that it's so important. And I can just the impact that kind of stuff has on people like is crazy, especially like music is my biggest coping mechanism when things get a little bit much. Like straight away,
Wow.
like I
Wow.
have like a song for everything, like
And is
you
that
know, the good,
is
the
it
bad,
the
the ugly.
lyrics, or is it the mood that it picks you up?
I think it's the lyrics. Like I have this weird kind, like I said earlier on about like that Ti lyric. Like that song came out like
Yeah.
I don't even know when that song came out, like years and years ago. But like it's that I still remember. Like even do you know what I like to say? Like you know, remember Chumbawamba?
Yeah, he drinks a
Like
whiskey. He drinks.
yeah, you think so? Like
Yes. Oh, you were talking about a different lyric in it.
no,
Oh,
that's the
right.
same one. So just smashed it. But it's that like you get knocked down, you get back
Oh,
up
yeah,
again.
that
It's
one.
that
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah, yeah.
it's that. I don't know. I've always had that thing with lyrics. And did you have you you know how does that work for you? Kind of
It's
bringing
really
those lyrics
interesting.
together.
You said it's really interesting. You said those lyrics because that was something my dad was always very. He would always talk about those lyrics in that particular song. He'd always be like,
Really,
that's just like me. I get knocked down, but I get up again." It's like,
I
and
love
maybe there's
that.
something in that. Yeah, that's a huge memory of mine, of his, of where he would always play that song and belt those lines out. Particularly, he really felt that. But
Yeah,
he was always a bit of a victim, bless him. He felt like he was a victim, you know.
yeah,
When anything ever went wrong, it was, oh, the world is against me, and that's just the kind of thing that happens to me, you
yeah,
know. And then so there's that feeling of, you know, I'm a fighter, I keep going. But really, you know, it's like it's not happening to you, and you're almost creating more barriers for
yeah.
yourself. Really, it can be easier if you don't, you know, how are you that important? um, but yeah, maybe there's something in that. Maybe that there is that feeling of like, I think with my music and my whole thing, there is that feeling of like the underdog situation of
Yeah,
I'm not, you know, I haven't got famous parents or famous friends or rich parents, or I'm from Northampton. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like it's not
Literally
a,
down the road. I'm from Coventry.
oh, no way.
Literally, it's not down the road there.
I like Coventry a lot, actually.
Good.
I really, I know you said
That's good. Yeah, yeah. It's good.
you're sort of, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you sound like you
No, I
love
do. No, I
it.
do. It's home.
Ah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's
Choosing your words carefully there. Yeah.
yeah,
You can't choose where you're from, and there is something very like, it feels like the whole of this town is behind me, and there's something
yeah. I
you want
love
to be
that.
proud of that. You know what I mean? You want to be proud of that.
Well, you
The,
like to see your own do well, don't you?
yeah,
It's
oh
that
yeah,
kind of sense. It's that community, I guess, that kind of rallies together.
yeah. And I
I
think
love
as
that.
well, like there was this kid that came up to me a few days ago, when I was walking down the road, and he was like, "Oh, Billy, I'm a fan. Me and my mates have got a band. We're doing it in our cellar in Northampton, and because you've proved that it's possible." And it's like, great, man,
Yes.
because when I was a kid, no one was making it from Northampton apart from Bower House, and that was like 70s. So I was thinking, fucking hell, we gotta have someone, you know, more recent than Bower House here. And then Slow Tie did it, and that gave a lot of people hope. And now I guess, you know, I'm helping with the whole situation. And there's Mason,
Definitely.
Sarpa Salpa, and Phantom Isle, and you know, there's so many like amazing bands and music coming out of this town at the moment. It's unreal. It's
What
great.
did so you know with that like what did music look like growing up? Because obviously I said that there was like certain songs that have kind of soundtracked my journey. Like what you know when you were growing up, like what kind of music was being played?
Well, I guess it was predominantly like indie, and I was always going to, you know, Northampton has this one venue called the Roadmender, and it's kind of the only big venue of the
Yeah.
town. And this is a sad thing; it doesn't really happen anymore. But when I was a kid, back in my day, uh, God, um, Every Friday we would go to Roadmender and we would watch the band. We never knew what they, we'd never heard.
Yeah.
We'd just go every Friday because it was always going to be a good band. And maybe it was on Friday. I think it was a different day of the week. And then from that, I saw the Ting Tings and Kaiser Chiefs and
Oh,
some,
wow. That was a blast from the
yeah,
past.
other indie bands, but beginning with K, the Kinks, the Kooks, not the Kinks. That was the 60s, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Um,
we're just time
but the
machine.
Kooks, yeah. And Pigeon Detectives, that kind of thing, Air
Yes.
Traffic, really good quality indie Future Heads, great quality indie bands, and there was a whole scene. It felt like we were part of this like movement. Essentially, yeah, indie was a bit like a emo and punk and all these other things. I guess I
Yeah.
was in that indie world, so it's nice, especially with this album, because I've predominantly done ballads, and I never really listened to ballads. Ballads
Yeah.
was never really my thing. I grew up on indie music, and I think this I think this is why this album's resonating to a lot of sort of 30 plus year old men, 25 to 35-year-old men, because it's like got a mixture of indie pop and the ballad.
Yeah.
So it's like
I'm
it's
glad you looked at me then and reduced the age range. Thank you. Thank you for that. Cheers.
yeah. But you know what I mean? It's that world of and
Yeah.
there is a bit of indie. Kamikaze is very indie.
Yes.
Whereas, Don't Be So Hard on Yourself is more Coldplay indie, early Coldplay Parachutes-esque thing
Yeah.
on
Do you
it.
know what? It's weird you say that because I got like I can't remember which song it was now, but I got like a very like anthemic kind of vibe. Like I could imagine listening it like in a stadium.
Oh wow, that's a good
I'll
sign.
find out which one it was, but one of them, I felt like I was because I think it's when you said Coldplay, like I imagined hearing it with like all
Yeah,
the lights, like all of it.
yeah. It's like that do 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 do. And there's all these strings, and I mean, this is the thing with this album. I just thought I'm just going to put whatever I feel. Like, I
Yeah,
mean, me and Barney, my producer, Barney Cox, insanely talented, probably the best producer I've ever worked with in my life. Well, not the best, but the best suited for me,
yeah,
Flick, because this is a thing when you're finding the right. This is, I think, another massive thing that's held me back for a long time is not being able to find the right producer. That is the hardest
wow,
thing
okay,
as an artist. Like, yeah, cool. If you can sing live, great. And if you can write songs, wicked. But if you don't have that guy or girl that can make you sound as good on the record, you're
yeah,
nothing. You're not, and like everyone would always say to me after shows, "Ah, you sound so much better live." Like it was a compliment. But
yeah.
to me, it was like, damn it, that's like because the record. I'd much rather sound better on the
On the
record.
record. I've never thought about that before.
Yeah, live I'm playing to like 500 people. The record that's going out to everyone in the
It's
world on
been
the internet.
mastered, it's been mixed, it's literally all of it.
Spend a fortune on that. You're going, no, you're much better live. Um, so
That's
Barney, yeah,
interesting.
Barney was a game changer. He
Yeah,
finally got my vocal right, and it just every time I brought a song to him or an idea to him, he'd be like, oh yeah, we should do this, this, and this, and this, and then you're like, oh, amazing. That's
it
you
came
know,
to life.
yeah, Missing You. I'd been working on that for over a year. And I just couldn't get it right. And I was on like version 7D. Do you know what I mean? I'd changed
Yeah,
up, I'd made the chorus a verse, and then I'd written a new chorus, and I made the verse a chorus, and I wrote new verses, didn't like that. And then I tried it as a ballad, and then I tried it as a full production, like Keen style thing. And then just did only guitars and only
yeah.
string. And then the guy I wrote it with, I ended up falling out with him because we just couldn't decide.
Which can get to the
We,
end of
I
the
hired
song.
out I hired out this studio, spent a fortune on it. We were like, right, we're going to try and find the right production for this, and we're doing it all. Got a drum, the whole band in, hired the band in, and then just halfway through, the guy writing it with Danny Collins, he's like, sounds shit, and I'm like, oh. But it was like the last version. I was like, all right, I'm done. Scrap it. Fuck it. It's not going on the album. And then I took it to Barney, and we had it sorted in one day. So, and it was perfect.
Wow.
Pretty much.
Well, that's just proof, isn't it? That's proof of finding like the right kind of finding your tribe, I guess, as well.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the same with the management, same with the label.
yeah,
You know, having the right team around you. I'm very lucky. I get to work with all my best mates, and we just have loads of fun, just
love
building it up
that.
together. It's like it's the best thing, starting to make it at this age, because it doesn't have that feeling of like all my life. It's always been like I'm the young naive artist, and all of these big men in suits are going to tell me how to make it.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like I'm like one of the managers.
You're the big man in the suit.
I'm the little man in the flower jar.
Yeah.
but uh, but it's more of a conversation, you know. It's like, hey guys, I feel like
Yeah.
we should try this, and they're like, okay, yeah, but what about that? And it's more of a, it's just like so fun. It's so
Love that.
fun.
You know what though? I'm getting this such a like a high energy, and you keep mentioning like the fun and like you mentioned like the live elements and stuff like that. Like you just announced a UK tour, your
Yeah,
headline UK tour.
yeah.
I mean, this might be a stupid question, but like, are you bringing the fun?
Well, I'm bringing my keyboard, and
Yes.
but that, yeah, I mean, it's me and my keyboard in my Fiat Punto, just driving around. There's no tour manager, there's no fancy stuff here, no merch. I'm doing all of it myself, completely DIY. I did the same thing with the Lucy Spraggan tour, and it nearly killed me though. That was 40 dates, and that was, you know,
Wow.
hundreds of hours of driving. I can't believe my car still has never broken down, touch wood. Um, but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it.
Wait, so hang on, is that actually true? Because I didn't know, I couldn't work
Yeah,
out
yeah,
if you were
yeah.
being sarcastic.
I
So
don't
you
know.
literally you're doing it all.
Yeah, I literally
Fair play.
that's how I do my tours now. I'm just like, I talked to my managers about it, and I was like, guys, like I don't want any like, you know, tricks. I don't want any bells and whistles here. I just
Yeah.
want it to just be authentic and real. And it's just me and a keyboard. And I've spent a long time adding things in and getting bands and doing all this stuff, and it just I haven't managed to find what works yet.
Yeah.
Apart, like nothing beats just me sitting at a piano and having a big sing along with my mates. That's what it kind of
Yeah.
feels like on my shows these days. It's just I sit there and then we'll have some chats. We're literally, it's like we just talk and catch up.
Oh
And
no, I'm absolutely buzzing for this now.
yeah, and then I'll be like, right, what should I play? And then someone will be like, play talk or play call me in the morning. And so I'm like, all right, wicked. And then we'll all,
Hey, kamikaze again. We
this
missed.
is this is going to be the problem with this actually, because I can't, some of these songs I just can't do on my own. Like, how do you do kamikaze without all the bells and whistles?
Fuming. Absolutely fuming now.
I just won't be able to do it. There's certain songs I just won't be able to do. But I mean, with my fans, I've got 140 songs out already before I
Yeah.
release the album. So there's a lot of there's a big back catalogue. So I kind of just do what everyone sort of fancies, really.
I love that you're just so humble. Like you just feel like
Well,
one
it's
of us. I
not
love
very
that.
special. It's not so much humble. It's just nothing. I'm not better than anyone, and that's like weird.
Yeah.
That like it's so weird that me just being a normal person it comes across, because I guess people are so used to artists or famous people being like, I'm I'm the star and I've got this you know,
Yeah.
come on, we know you're we know your game. But then again, don't get me wrong, I like doing this, and it's not an act. It's just I just want to.
Just you.
I just can't be asked
Yeah.
to try and pretend to be anyone but myself anymore. I just,
No, I love it. But you know, I think it sums up and I got that real sense of that listening to the album and even now having the conversation. It's like
yeah.
you gotta keep going like because I think it's working clearly.
Also, obviously, there's the humble aspect of doing it in the car and on my own, but there's also the fact that it's cheaper.
Just for anyone listening, like the tour isn't in the car. Like the show, well, it's not like he's gonna open his boot and it's gonna it's
Well, I
Billy
literally
Lockett.
am going to open my boot, and there is going to be my keyboard. You know, it's a very DIY thing, but I think as well, like, you know, it's the whole Ed Sheeran thing, isn't it? Of like, you know, if a band had made Ed better, he would have had a band. But I think the
Yeah.
original thing, it wasn't only the fact that it was kind of his identity and it was a quirky thing. It was also because he felt like he did a better show with that
Yeah.
arrangement. And like, I'm not that guy that
Yeah.
wanders around the stage going, everybody put your hands in the air. Come on, guys, let's hear you at the
Left
back.
side.
Yeah, no way. I mean,
I can't hear you.
oh God, kill me. Having to do some dance moves. Yeah, oh God. But when I've got a piano in front of me, I can sort of orchestrate the crowd a bit and to
Yeah.
get everyone singing along. But it's almost like the there's something so real about being. Sometimes I'll just stop halfway through and be like, God, is that sort of annoying you? Is that light annoying you? Because that's annoying, and then everyone pisses out, and I'm like, sorry, man, but that is really annoying. It's like, not in a bad way, and then it's like,
I
right,
can't wait for this now. Cannot wait.
you know what? That's the thing with shows as well. When I realized that you don't have to be perfect, right? There's a beauty in being real with a live show, and
Yeah.
as soon as you realize that, your nerves disappear because you can't,
Ah, okay.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe I'll make a mistake. I hope I don't make a mistake, but if I do, then people understand. I'm a human being.
Yeah.
It's like, try not to, try not to. But still, the fact that it's not gonna be the end of the world if you do
Yeah.
makes a
It's
live.
human. It's a
Yeah,
very human thing, and I think I'm. It's kind of what I was saying at the beginning of the waffle is the fact that announcing this live show, there's an element of pressure and stuff. But I think even having this conversation, I'm just like, wow, well, yeah, if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. But The most important thing is that I have fun,
yeah,
people enjoy it, people are laughing.
yeah,
That's what it's all about.
totally. I mean, at the end of the day, it's entertainment, and I just want people to come and have a good time, and that's really all there is to it. I mean, it's like,
It's not difficult, is it? I feel like you've just solved the world problems.
literally my job. So I'm like, and I think as well, because I've done this for so long now, it's like I know these songs like the back of my hand. Some of these songs I
Yeah.
wrote like 10 years ago. So I've been playing them forever. And it's just the most important thing is being able to just see everyone again, because I've grown up with these people.
Yeah.
Like, I started my first big tour was supporting Katie Tunstall when I was 19, and I'm 31.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was like 12 years ago. It was my first big tour where I got probably about 30% of my audience that's still with me now. So,
Yeah.
these people are like, you know, one of them, I mean, it's like, 50, like 30-year-olds would come to me and be like, God, like I saw you at uni.
Yeah.
I saw you when you played my uni. This is amazing, man, because it's like, wow, like you've stuck around, and now I know you. Now I feel like I know
Yeah.
everyone, and everyone feels like they know me. So there's gigs have got a lot easier because you're just playing to your mates.
Yeah.
It
I
feels-
love that though. And do you know what? It must be like such a surreal feeling when that does happen. And it's like there's obviously been certain songs with them that have kind of soundtracked their uni days,
yeah.
like that gig they saw at uni, obviously because it's stuck with them that much that obviously they keep coming back. Like that must be like probably one of the best feelings, surely.
Yeah, that it's amazing that the history of it is so great, and I've always wanted to build this kind of brand that I will hopefully do this till I die. Do you know what I mean? So fingers crossed, I've got a lot more albums
Yeah,
in
I was
me.
going to say, please, just
and and the best thing about it is there's that classic situation. A lot of people always say this about my shows, that it's a lot of the time you'll see a whole family will go, and the whole
yeah,
family, and then there's like, a 10-year-old girl listening and loving the same song that her 70-year-old granddad loves. And that's like that shows me it's like, oh yes, like I've managed to just do something good. It doesn't matter about age or fads or what clothes I'm wearing or what cult or what bands I'm related
yeah,
to, or whether a mate is just brought him along. This is just, they just like it because they like it,
yeah.
not influenced by any bullshit. They just like it because they think it's good. And if you can get that from both of those, you've pretty much hit the nail on the head. In my eyes, that's like the perfect song.
I feel like you've done it. To be fair, this kind of leads me on to then. Like you just mentioned, like the perfect song. Every time I have a guest on, I ask them three questions to kind of not to kind of round it up because I don't want to round it up as if it's like I'm cutting you off kind of thing. But you mentioned there about like the perfect song and stuff like that. Is there a song for you that kind of maybe like it gets you on the dance floor or it reminds you of a good time? Like, is that a real difficult question to be
Reminds me of
like?
a good time. Reminds me of a good time. Um, a lot of Jamie T, Sticks and Stones. I remember being in
Yes.
the top floor of Embargoes, which is a club in Northampton, completely off my head on pills. About 17 years old, shouldn't have even been allowed in there.
Yeah.
Say that way. It was in the past, wasn't it? And oh, that was a good time. That was a time. Yeah.
Sticks and stones.
Does that answer the question?
Absolutely. That's what I want to be. I feel like you're the first person who's come on here after 3 years of doing this and gave me like an honest answer.
And I bet my PR is, oh fucking hell, Billy, why are you saying
Please
this?
stop talking.
About someone dying, drunk, fucking hell.
Okay, we'll bring it back a little bit. Is there a song? Because you mentioned it earlier, to be fair, and it really made me kind of laugh internally. I obviously wasn't laughing at the time, but when you said like you were on the bus and like you were kind of putting those lyrics together for like the spoken word a little bit,
Yeah.
like is there a song that when it is raining or you're on those kind of journeys that you'll look out the window and pretend you're in a music video? Is there a song that brings out like the emotion?
Yeah, Rush of Blood to the Head. Did you know that Coldplay's
Coldplay, yeah.
Blood to the Head? It's the best. It's
Oh,
just the best song. I mean, it's where Coldplay get a lot of shit, but I think
I don't get
oh,
this.
I love that band.
So do I.
So proud say I love Coldplay. All right, I love them. They're amazing. They're just obviously some of their newer stuff is a little bit. I get what they're doing. I get it. Yeah, la la, woo, we're having lots of fun. But that rush of blood to the head, parachutes. I mean,
Yes.
X and Y.
Speed of sound.
Yeah, speed us up.
Speed of sound.
Politics. Remember politics? Tell
Yes.
me you're a politic. I'll burn up your eye. Oh, what an amazing, amazing band. So yeah, I think Coldplay is that thing for me. Production's incredible. I
Yes.
don't care. Some of their songs are like 5, 6 minutes long. And I mean, Radiohead as well, of course.
Yeah.
Radiohead when I want to feel a bit cooler, but I still want Coldplay.
Yeah.
You know,
Still dabble.
if I want something rockier, but I want to listen to Coldplay, I'll listen to Muse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like you've got the three there to
Yeah.
do.
Big
They cover
British
it all.
bands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're kind of all the same, but not. They cover everything.
It's a wide spectrum.
Yeah,
But there's one final question that I tend to ask, but obviously feel free not to ask it because I feel like a lot of people squirm when I ask this one. But if there was a song that you would just like to put in a box, close the box, push it to the side, never ever hear it again, is there a song?
yeah,
And that's not because you don't like it,
one of
but
my own. One of my own. Yeah,
oh, you cop out.
yeah, I know.
Cop out.
But it's no, but dude, it's so shit. It's really bad.
I swear to God, if Kamikaze comes out your mouth, I'm going to punch you.
Well, no, it's not that bad, but I always hated it. It was called "Feels So Good," and
Okay.
and I've never been into it, and I've always cringed at that. So I just want that to die and never come back again. But it's
That's
got
what's
me.
going in the box.
I can't now. Yeah, if I was to put something in the box that wasn't mine, I think Crazy Frog's pretty high.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's valid. That's
and at the
valid.
moment, I don't know what the hell is happening, but the last like 3 days, I keep waking up with it in my head, and it honestly, it's ruining my mornings really bad. I'm not listening to it. I've been talking to Coast.
Yeah.
Does this keep happening? I'm not listening to it in years, but it just keeps. And it's one of those things. Now I've got it in my head. Now I've got it in my head
Yeah.
again, and
No, it's in my head.
yeah, and
Well,
now
this is
you're
gonna be
gonna wake up.
really awkward because he's here tonight.
What, the frog? You've
Frog.
got him in frog
Why
form.
was he naked? Remember the video? Why was he naked?
Sex sells.
True.
So
It's true.
weird one, isn't it? It's a similar thing with that. What was that other movie that they had to take all the parts off? It was James Corden was part of Cats. It was the movie Cats.
Yes,
They had to
yeah.
redo the whole thing because it had all the genitalia on the animals. So they had to
Yeah, I
scrap
mean,
the
I'm glad
movie.
they
I
did,
mean, yeah, yeah.
but no one wants to see that. do they?
No, no, well, no one wanted to see it. I think it flopped and
Oh,
got
to be fair, yeah, it got panned really bad, actually, didn't it? Not maybe they should have just kept it in. They should have learned from Crazy Frog.
at least it would have been a sort of cult movie. Do you know what I mean? It could have gone down the Spinal Tap way, or it eventually becomes big. Yeah.
I honestly think this has been one of my favorite recordings I've ever done.
Oh, Sharma. Do you say that on every single one though? That's the thing.
Absolutely, and they hate it.
Yeah.
Literally, the people who listen to it, like, you say this to everyone. No, I genuinely mean it. Like, I genuinely like you've soundtracked my day today, the good and the bad. And
Yeah.
now I feel very lucky to be having the conversation
Yes.
about the incredible album and
Thank you.
obviously the tour. And I'll be seeing you in Birmingham. Honestly, thank you so much for joining me for Waffle. Like, the album is brilliant. So anyone listening to this who hasn't heard it yet, go and download it, buy it, stream it, whatever you need to do. Abington Road, it is fucking superb.
Thank you.
And best of luck on. Well, I'll see you on the tour, but best of luck in your car.
Yeah, man. I can't wait. Sort of. Yeah.